Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live, and we are super delighted and excited to welcome an incredible creative in studio with us this evening. We are incredibly honored to welcome Maqshuda Moosa, who is the force behind Fragrant Feeling. Now, she is the dynamic force behind this incredible brand, this amazing business that produces these incredibly beautiful candles, and you can see them in the shot right behind me. But stay tuned to our conversation this evening. We are going to be talking about her passions. We're going to be talking a bit more about some of the tips and tricks that helped her become successful as an entrepreneur. But more importantly, we are here to talk about how you can get your hands on some of these incredible products. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Now, the first thing I noticed walking into studio today is, of course, the wonderful smell coming from these beautiful candles that are behind me. And we have the honor of having some of your beautiful designs in studio with us. So thank you so much for sharing them with us. But to start off our conversation this evening, of course, this started out as a side hustle, but it is now something that has grown and changed and is now a completely successful business that you are running. Can you talk to us about where the journey began? Where did your passion start for candle making, and how did you come to realize that this is your passion and hey, could be a really cool business idea?
Well, I started working immediately after I matriculated, and my salary at the time was just enough to pay for my studies. So, of course, I started looking out for different ways that I could earn an additional income. And I dabbled in a few things like New Skin and Herbalife, but I don't think I was the right person to be doing that stuff, so it never really worked out. And then one insignificant night, I was sitting with my sister and I was telling her I really need to do something that will earn me this additional income. And we were going through Instagram Reels at the time, and a reel popped up of a lady that was promoting her candle business. And my sister says, "Why don't you just make candles?" And it was a joke at first, but I always joke with her that she's co-founder because it was her idea. And then she started showing me pictures of what I could possibly make. And then I started researching, and I saved up a bit to buy my first molds and whatever I needed to start making candles. Played on YouTube for a bit and seen how to make it, and then that's how Fragrant Feeling was born, I guess.
Thank you for sharing your journey with us. I think it's wonderful to learn about your humble beginnings, because I think there's so many people at home who can take inspiration from your journey in just looking at an idea and having that spark being lit in your mind, and then deciding, okay, let me go and learn how to do this, let me go and do my research and turn it into a business opportunity. And I think for a lot of people out there who, like you, are looking for a side hustle that inshallah one day will turn into something that is more full-time, that's a wonderful way for them to kind of get some inspiration from your journey. Now, when it comes to that moment that it turned in from being a side hustle to being something you realized you could do full-time, can you share that moment or that experience with us on when you realize, okay, wow, my business is doing well, I think I can start investing a bit more time into my business?
So, the first like 2.5 years, Fragrant Feeling made as many sales as I could count on one hand. And then I decided to register it and put my candles on takealot.com. And because it was exposed to more people, it started making more sales. And that's when I realized that I could actually make something out of this. And then, but Takealot also, you have to reach a certain target market for people to actually say, I want candles. So it never made as much as I expected it to. And then I started just being more consistent on Instagram and decided to make one of my now most popular candles, my mini bubbles, as wedding favors, because they so small and they're inexpensive. And the day I posted that, that's when the reel started just going, and it actually did quite well. And from then I've just been making mini bubbles for event favors, and that's when I realized that if I actually put some effort into this, it could really become something. And now my business, so I initially wanted to go into retail, but then after doing wedding favors, I realized that I'm actually meant to be in the event industry and make wedding favors, baby shower favors for all events. And that's when I realized some effort would take me a long way.
It's wonderful to see how you were able to find your target market and your audience and your consumer base just through using your social media platforms and using every avenue you possibly could to find where that target market is. But you brought some really beautiful pieces. I know Eid and Ramadan is coming up, and I know a lot of people love to give gifts to family members and friends. And if you're hosting anyone at your Ramadan table or your Eid table, a lot of people love to give favors, and it's a wonderful idea to be able to gift them some of these beautiful pieces. Are you able to take us through some of the candles that you brought with us?
So I actually decided to bring these because this is my Ramadan and Eid collection, which are doing so amazing right now in the retail space, and my wholesale has kind of shut down a little bit because of Ramadan and Eid. But I decided to choose these because the mosque, I mean, now is when we try to go to the mosque more than we generally should or generally would. And then the second one here I call the prayer moon. My names aren't that great, but it resembles what it is. It's just a man that's praying. The black one is called the crescent arch because the crescent moon is arch, and then obviously the mosque again. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, because I'm in the events and it's all about gifting and stuff, so I decided to make a Ramadan and Eid collection, which would be the perfect inexpensive gifts to still give your loved ones.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, these are absolutely stunning. They smell amazing. And I can absolutely see why these would be a perfect Ramadan Mubarak gift or even an Eid gift for family and friends. And you could send one to each of your family members, and they're absolutely stunning. When it comes to the fragrances, I almost wanted to say flavor because it smells delicious in here. Can you talk to us about some of the different fragrance options that you do offer within these different designs?
So since these are Ramadan and the Eid collection, these are available in 4 different oud scents. So you have white oud, oud bunch of lilies, oud moon, as well as rose oud. So these are actually all made in white oud because it's the most common and the best selling scent right now. But my event orders or my event candles are available in so many scents just because there's people have so many different preferences. Some like subtle, some like sweet, some like strong and overwhelming scents. So my range goes from fruity to scents that are very perfumey, you know. So yeah.
So something for everyone. Every kind of flavor, scent profile that you're looking for, someone can definitely find from you. Now, of course, this is a skill you've had to teach yourself, and that's wonderful. And that's, you know, the wonderful thing about the digital age is that if there's a skill you want to learn, you can absolutely go to a YouTube platform, you can go to the web, and you can find all the research and information. But of course, I'm sure this took a lot of time, patience, and practice in terms of, you know, developing your skill. But of course, as someone who's never made a candle, who unsuccessfully made a candle as a child, can you talk to us about what is the process like? What is the creative process like when you are creating a candle? Or for example, what is your creative process when you're coming up with a new collection?
So I like to introduce new candles throughout the year just to keep everyone interested. So Valentine's Day, Ramadan, and then would be an autumn collection, you know, something that makes your home just feel a bit like get you into that mood of cozy towards winter. So definitely when I think of, okay, what collection am I going to come up with, definitely like depending on the season and stuff, then I would choose my molds from there. But making a new candle is actually a little bit tricky because you don't know how much wax it takes, so you can't even look at what price you're going to charge. You need to see what kind of wick you need because not every candle uses the same wick. Depending on how much wax you use in the candle, that will determine the length or the width of the wick that you use. So when you play around with new candles, it really takes a lot of experimenting. But the making of a candle itself is thankfully not rocket science. I would have never been able to make this business successful. It's I have a wax melter at home, which is very similar to a chocolate melter. So that melts my wax for me. I pour it into a bowl or a jug at the time, whichever I decide to use. And if there's a color needed, I mix my color in there. My colors are actually little flakes, so they look like sweets. And then the scent, depending on how big the candle, that's how much scent you put in. Mix it well and then pour it into the mold.
Now, I know you're telling me this as if it's something that's so simple and so easy to do, but this to me sounds like a complete science, getting the right balance, choosing the right wick. And, I really congratulate you on the success of your business and being able to turn something that was a passion project into something as successful as what it is now. It's incredible to see. And for other smaller businesses out there who are maybe still up and coming and starting out, what are some pieces of advice you wish you knew when you were starting out that might have helped you in the beginning?
So I'd actually say I'd have maybe about 2 or 3 things to tell people. The first one would be, don't compare yourself to other people, because there will be people that are doing similar or the same thing to you in the market. And you'd see their success and think, when am I going to get to that point? Am I going to get to that point? And you try to compare, which actually demotivates you. So really don't compare yourself to other people, and just take it one day at a time and just plan yourself and focus on your success, because your customers will always be your customers. It's Allah's qadar whether you get the customer or not. So I definitely say don't compare yourself and don't really rush to success. The second thing is, it really does take a lot of early mornings, late nights, and it does drain you of your energy in every kind of way. But once it gets to that point, it's definitely worth it. So just keep pushing. And the third thing would be, as an entrepreneur that does everything from the social media to the making to the cleaning, it's definitely not a get-rich scheme. It definitely takes some time. Like I said, for 2.5 years, I made enough sales to count at one hand, and now my business funds itself. So it really does take time for you to actually get to that point where it funds itself. So there is a misconception that you need to make money in order to spend money, but no, you need to spend money in order to make the money. So that would just be what I would say to people, which I knew that before.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And I'm really glad that you were able to be vulnerable and share that, because I think people look to entrepreneurship as something that is going to be this quick fix that's going to add extra money into my pocket and I'm going to start. And I think we have this misconception because we see all these businesses online that look like they were overnight successes, but you just didn't know about them when they were starting out. So thank you for sharing that. But in closing, we have to know, where can we find you on social media? How do we get our hands on some of these beautiful pieces for Ramadan and for Eid?
So on social media, I am on Instagram and TikTok. It's Fragrance Feeling with 2 underscores, Fragrance 2 underscores Feeling on Instagram and TikTok. And once you get to my profiles, you'll find the link for our website where you can purchase these as quick as that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing with us this evening. Thank you for joining and for sharing your passion project that turned into a successful business. We love to see Muslim female business owners in South Africa. We love to see how much they're thriving, and we love to see your creative energy and what you're bringing to the table. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about my business because I'm so proud of it. So this was very exciting to do.
And we're very proud of you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Viewers at home, that was Fragrance Feeling. If you are feeling as motivated and as inspired as I am by this conversation, and you are a small business owner out there, I hope you take inspiration from her journey and the success that it has brought and the patience she had to have for it to get to this point as well. But away from that, I know we're all looking for wonderful Ramadan favors or Eid favors, and these are the perfect gift. Please do reach out to Fragrance Feeling on social media platforms. Go to the website, order, or send her a DM if you have any special requests or any questions. She would absolutely love to hear from you. And I mean, come on, these are absolutely stunning. But do stay in tune with us this evening and stay informed. If you have any questions, please do also share with them on our social media platforms. We would absolutely love to hear from you. But on that note, it is time for us to head over to an ad break, and we'll come right back.